gonna lead into it. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever the peck time it is. Hi. This is my new catchphrase, apparently. But welcome everyone to another Toonkind FPS. Woo! This one's called Wandering Minds, with a few characters that we haven't really seen before, or at least we have, but as NPCs. But I'm Vwild, and I will be playing a few select characters, including the lovable old Tort. And my wonderful, amazing, fantastic, absolutely incredible in every capacity partner is...
Okay, first off, how dare you? I do not have this.
I dare. I dance on the graves in the moonlight. I dare so hard.
I love you! And, fight me. Hi, guys, I'm Babble. I'm playing, a bastard bunny for once. And a cranky old bitch. Not gonna say their names quite yet. But he-hoo.
Indeed. Indeed. But I think we'll open today, just as we're ready to dive in, we open at a place that people are aware of vaguely now. It's the Toontown Stagehands Hub. And we open up. It's an average day. I say average. A lot of shit's been happening with the stagehands recently. Like, a lot of shit. So many bad things. So many questionable things. I mean, gestures at Pom Pom. Gestures at Lulu. Gestures at Hattie just sitting here.
Listen, they're all having a time, but it's fine. They're getting the help that they need now. So they're good.
They are. And on that front, it's time everyone got the help they needed, in a sense. Hey, a certain character who you have,
Mm-hmm.
would they mind rolling me a, let's see, what should we roll for them? Yeah, roll perception, and, because we've got a lot of stagehands in this hub, there's a specific little bunny. Would you mind telling our audience who that bunny is?
So, Lil Pita Thumper Stagehand is the bunny that I'm playing today. I forgot. Hold on, I actually have to bring up someone else's thing because I don't know if it affects wisdom. He
hasn't been brought up properly, but he has been there in the background. He hasn't been at the reunion for a couple of reasons, but I'll let you go. I'll let you carry on for a sec.
Oh no, you're good. He was in Warships. Some of you might know him as the bunny who posed as a cop, but was actually an assassin. And he helped, Abigail get to Saltpier. Now granted, he did a really shitty job driving, but then again, this is Pita, he doesn't give a fuck. Usually.
God, I'm realizing all the stuff I know about this bunny. He should not have been driving.
No, he should not have. But he did.
God.
Alright, okay, so it doesn't affect that. Cool. Awesome. Where is your perception?
Heck, road safety, apparently, in this day and age. God. 11. Alright, we can definitely work with that, but it's... Tell me, what's Lil Pita doing today? Just, what does he normally do on an everyday today? Because we know, well, most stagehands do have some sort of condition or, well, way of going about in life that's different to other people. Pita's certainly got something, eh?
Yeah, it certainly is a thing that's going on. Admittedly, he's probably just chilling.
Mm-hmm.
He's just vibing. Probably chewing on some keys.
Nah. But as he's doing that, there's always a stagehand nearby just to make sure he's all right, make sure everything's going okay if he needs anything. And with an 11, he does just like vaguely hear talking. And it grows a little bit closer after a little bit, and he can recognize voices to an extent. It's old Tort. It's his dad and little Mal. And they are just both just like talking near him, just little Mal going, Tort, dear heart, if I know with everything going on that you want to try different things, that it's admirable, honestly, but his condition can't be. We've accepted it. I know you accepted it, so I don't quite understand. And there is another noise, and then there's old Tort's voice ringing out, going, I know. I know, but we've been through enough shit recently. I want to try and help him. If there's anything that can be done. We almost lost Pom Pom. Our little picnic. We almost lost Lulu. I just want to try and save him. Okay, we'll hold down the fort. I mean, Daniel's still up in his room, or Hattie's room. We'll figure things out as a group and see if we can keep other people from prying. If the nearby hospital, it's expensive. Are you sure? I know this was going towards your fund. It's gonna be fine. Oh, it's going to be fine. All right. And there is another bit of silence.
That's fair. Old Tort, you get a bunny resting his head against you.
There is an immediate, large, weathered hand just coming down and just giving a very, by old Tort's standard, very gentle pat on their head. And his claws do run through the fur and the fluff in a very old and practiced gesture.
The slightest of happy thumps.
Alright. Lillian in today? And can little Mal roll a history perception? What would you say to see if someone is in the house and just like, do we need to sneak around them?
Yeah, I would say perception, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I will already tell you, nobody's seen her yet.
Alright, well that's great, because that was a nat 20. Little Mal, you have a -1 to perception because of you being deaf, but somehow you see all.
I mean, I get the feeling that she's also probably sus of Lillian, and by all accounts, if I was sus of somebody, I would probably want to know where they are at all times.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure, like, little Mal does. She is a very, very old cat. She is also a gremlin. She does just go through the vents sometimes, so she probably does clock where people are at different times, including just like, oh, okay, they're there. Reggie's got himself stuck in the fence again. Oh, peck. And just, like, she does just do little routine checks of where everyone is and knowing stuff.
Well, I mean, you don't see her.
On that front, with a nat 20, has Lillian often just spontaneously disappeared. This caretaker of Peter.
Yeah?
Alright. There is... Lil Mal does just think on that front and then just slowly relay that to old Tort. And there is a shared glance between them of, this is incredibly suspicious on multiple levels, but we're not going to bring it up yet. There's probably going to be a blunt intervention at some point, because we're concerned. But it's gonna be fine. There's been other stagehand shit to deal with. It's fine. It's probably fine. And there is just... Oh, sorry, you go.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was turning down the volume on my computer.
Ah, bless. But there is just, after a little bit, there's a little bit more hushed back and forth between Little Mao and Old Tort. Probably sign language. It's quite literally going over Peter's head.
Oh.
But then there is just a Old Tort does just kind of lean down and plop himself down, so he's sitting right next to Peter and just goes, "Hey, kiddo. How you doing, fuzzy butt?"
Peter doesn't really respond, other than swaying a little bit. And, pushing the keys towards him.
Old Tort expected that, and there's just this patient, kind smile as he just goes, "Oh, and keys! Hey, whose keys are those, eh? They your keys? They my keys?" And he's just like playing. He's just playing into this at this point, going, "Whose keys are these?" And they are probably like toy keys that he has kept on his waist so that Peter could steal them, but it be okay.
He probably did steal them.
Yes, just like, they're not the important keys. There are certain keys that are highly important because they lead to the pyrotechnics and stuff. But no, this is just like this toy set so that he doesn't hurt his mouth when he chews on them. And there's just a very happy laugh from Old Tort. Just a few little motes of light green Grawlix as he just goes, "Hey, little Peter, how about you and I go out today, eh? We can get the wheelchair out. How do you like to go see the sun?"
Okay. Going to roll. Man. Alright. So he looks confused, but he doesn't seem against the idea.
I'm just gonna roll something for Old Tort. Old Tort. Yeah. That's a deception on his part. There is a very deep breath, and there is a look that passes over his face, passes through his eyes, but he breathes through it, and it's back to being that kind and gentle smile. He goes, Alright. Come on, fuzzy butt, let's get you into a wheelchair. Let's go on a walk. Come on. And is with the parts of the condition that Peter has, is he able to stand up and walk, or is it going to be a carrying thing?
It would probably be best to carry him.
Mm-hmm. Alright. Don't worry. Your dad's got you. And there is the very gentle sway, rock, and pop up of old Tort getting to his feet. Because he does have to do a pendulum swing with how big his shell is, and that he's a little bit heavy on his back. That he just pops up, and then he does gently reach down, and it is. Old Tort is weathered and strong, and he definitely sometimes will hug you until you go flat against him, but the hold he puts Peter in is gentle. Weathered hands making sure that he doesn't rock him in any capacity. It's a safe hold. Caring and kind and as soft and gentle as he can make it as he lifts him up and just toddles him over to the wheelchair, which is probably nearby.
Yeah. It's easy to set him down in there. While he's being carried, he does absolutely just rest his head against old Tort. It's a very weak hug back, but he's hugging.
There is a very soft hum from old Tort of snatches of old lullabies and show tunes. Just little relaxing things. And he does just gently put Peter in this chair. It's not as though he thinks he's fragile. Well, actually, his design is fragile, isn't it?
It is, unfortunately.
This is an old tune. Everyone that is in this moment is a very old tune. I mean, 163 and in their 70s, respectively. This is a very old generation.
Mm-hmm.
But it does take a little bit of just old Tort making sure that Peter's settled, that he's got a blanket, that he's got everything he needs to be comfortable as they go out. And then there's a few more words shared with Lil Mal. Now that little Peter's actually like upright and in a chair, he probably does just see, because it is rather quiet, all things considered. There is just a little more talk between this old cat and this old tortoise, and a hug shared. Before old Tort is just coming up to him, claws through fur again, and then goes behind him and starts walking with this wheelchair. Just out into the sun, out into the day of Toontown.
Peter seems amazed when he gets outside. Even though he's seen it before, he looks pretty excited. He doesn't move much, but he is looking around as if everything is new.
Which in some ways it is, isn't it? But old Tort makes sure to go a scenic route, a nicer route. The hub isn't in the best area of town, because it is an old warehouse. But they do just carry on for a bit, just passing through places, and old Tort makes sure to direct little Peter's gaze to things that are stunning, things that are just the small, soft wonders of the world. A bluebird sailing overhead, the leaves on the trees turning as they rustle, just pretty flowers at a stall, just all the little things that make life so wonderful. And I'm gonna roll him survival. Oh, you go?
I was just repeating a little bit that, yeah, no, wherever old Tort points, he's gonna look.
It is almost like when little Peter was very young, when old Tort would take a gaggle of the kids just out, because he has a lot of kids, and little Peter, little Logan, little Mal, they're all the same age, so he would just take them out on walks and show them things where he could as they went and got their own groceries. And I'm gonna roll survival for him, because he's not going somewhere he normally goes. Stagehands normally don't go to hospitals. Money, and also when a stagehand gets injured, they get injured. But that's a 19 survival. So I'm presuming finding the hospital that he's been looking into is semi-easy?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's hidden. It's probably one of the biggest buildings in the area.
And old Tort does just stop outside and look for the nearest ramp, because the Toontown Hub had a ramp, and he's been making sure to go a route that's wheelchair accessible, and he will find the ramp at this hospital just ready to go in and just go. Okay. Here goes fucking nothing and fucking everything. Alright. Come on, Lil Pita. Let's try this one, eh? And he does just carefully wheel him inside.
Immediately, Old Tort and Little Pita both are greeted at the by the lady at the front desk. Hi, welcome in. What's going on today?
Pardon, could you say that last part again? My hearing isn't what it used to be.
Of course, sir. No, you are absolutely fine. How can I help you today?
I was looking for a appointment. I made it earlier. Old Tort stagehand. I'm not going to give my full name. It's got a few curses in it. But I made an appointment in my son's name here, Lil Pita. We wanted a checkup.
Alright, can I get a last name, please? And she says that while she's looking through her files.
Fuzzy Butt Stagehand.
There's a moment where she pauses and she blinks. She tries so hard not to snort. Yes, thank you so very much, sir.
Pleased
Here
to
we
be of
are.
And he is just like glancing around, and yes, he will be swearing at every opportunity.
I don't think they mind at all. They've probably heard worse.
Feckin' fantastic.
Alright, I will be delivering this to the nurse that's going to be taking care of you today. If you wouldn't mind just waiting in the waiting room for just a few minutes while I go do so, they will be right with you.
Of course. Is the waiting room quiet at the moment? Things can cause reactions. We'd rather avoid anything at the moment.
Well, we have the main waiting room, although if you wanted a quiet one, we do have a side garden over there. And she points a little bit further down the ways. It's a small garden. It seems to be surrounded by glass. It's kind of like a room with open sun shining in. But it's still really pretty. And there doesn't seem to be anyone else in there at the moment.
There is a very warm smile from old Tort and a tip of his hat as he goes, "Thank you feckin' kindly. We'll be in there. Come on, Lil Pita." And he does just like wheel the wheelchair. Yeah, you wheel a wheelchair. And he just takes it towards that little garden area.
There is plenty of grass, but there is, of course, a way for wheelchairs to get around there. There's also a bench with a space beside it for wheelchairs and for old Tort to sit in.
And that's what he does. He pulls the wheelchair up beside, and then he goes and he sits in the chair. And there is a look on his face of... It's difficult to describe. Little Peter can roll insight, but also, bless him.
That tracks.
Yeah, 9. 9, no. You don't understand what's going across your dad's face. It's a lot of complex emotions that are a bit too complex. Even old Tort would struggle to articulate exactly what's going on in his own mind as he's just staring, and he does just reach out and very, very gently in his claws take little Peter's hand and just go, "If this doesn't work, at least we tried. And I don't know how much you understand nowadays, my boy. But I am always going to do my best to look after you. I love you, son. You're gonna be okay. Whether it's through something here or we're gonna make things as comfortable as possible for you. You've been incredible, and you've held on so long. Let's see what we can do today."
Lil Pita just tilts his head. One of his ears just kind of flopping past his shoulder. And he reaches the hand that's free and kind of lightly bats him on the face. It's gentle.
Oh, you're old pickin' man being sentimental, aren't I? Oh, I'm a motherfucker, aren't I? And he does just reach his spare hand up and just clasp that soft hand to his face. Just closes his eyes just for a moment, and it is a bit of a wet laugh. But he does compose himself quickly as he just goes, "Inkwell is built on hope. And we stagehands, we're stubborn. It is my middle name. But we'll get through this. We'll get through this. Come on. I haven't lost faith in you yet, kid."
And as he says that, Mr. Stagehand?
Frickin' what?
Mr. Stagehand, we're ready for you. And there is a small kobold with a clipboard. Come on, follow me.
Right, we're coming, we're getting our walking feet on, and we're coming, we're going. And he does just pop up, and it is very much the vibrant stagehand attitude as he just pops off a bit of Grawlix. There is viridescent Grawlix now in the air as he just toddles around the back of the wheelchair and just starts it moving again. Just, "We're on our way, we're going."
It's alright, no, the room isn't gonna go anywhere, sir. And she says that with a kind smile.
Oh, so it isn't a shifting place. That's good. Those places are full of pickin' magical bullshit.
I mean, I've been to a hospital where it did do that, but thankfully no, this is not one of them.
Oh, great. Well, we'll make sure to stay clear of that one. I don't particularly want to go falling downstairs that suddenly move.
Oh, it's all the way in Dreamworkers. You were not gonna have to run into that.
Mother pickin' fantastic. That's good to know. But anyway, right this way. Come on, Peter. And he does just do a little burst of speed, just not quite running, but enough to try and see if he can get a reaction from little Peter of, "Hey, we're doing zoomies."
he does lean back, and he doesn't look like he's afraid or anything.
No.
And eventually
But
he
I
does
think
look back and smile.
there is a wide, weathered grin from old Tort. Just there are laughter lines and crow's feet and all the signs of age, but in this moment, old Tort looks. I don't know how much Lil Pita remembers of everything from before, but there is a look that seems to transcend time of his dad smiling back at him. I think it doesn't take long at all. Oh,
Okay then.
what was that?
What
was that?
That was an insight for the nurse.
Oh, she's got a high mod. We love to see it.
Alrighty. Right into this room right here, please. My name is Delilah. I'll be your nurse for the day.
Delilah, pleased if I can meet you. I'm all taught to the. Well, I used to be the hub master of the stagehands. Now I'm retired, happily so. And this is my son, Lil Pita. I won't say his full name again. We have swear names. We have swear names. You're probably gonna find that at some point.
Oh, I
It's
assure
on our
you,
file.
we've heard worse.
Oh, is that so? Hey, Peter, cover your ears a moment.
I'm gonna see if he understands this command.
And old Tort does just like telegraph the movement by doing a miming of covering his ears.
Okay.
I think that does it just enough.
He's mimicking his dad and kind of grabbing them.
There is an encouraging nod from old Tort, and with the insight that this nurse has, you can tell the exact moment that this old tortoise goes into. I might be in a place that is not comfortable for me, but by God, I'm gonna make it comfortable. And he just very happily, there is a foghorn noise, and then every swear in the book. And a couple of creative ones. I'm gonna roll. Okay, that is great. That is a performance. That's a 20. That's a 20.
And that's a
That
10.
is
She bursts out laughing.
And yes, it's definitely, anyone who hears this definitely goes, oh God, that's a stagehand. But yeah, he does just rattle through a lot of them and then just like wind down after that and just go, so, I think I can do better.
Well, I'd say that was pretty amazing. I don't think I've ever heard that string of words.
With no repetition.
No. Indeed not.
And yes, he is incredibly proud of that part. That he can go for a good minute at least without repeating anything. And he's just very smug.
Well, she gives him a kind of bravo sort of clap. Before she turns to a whiteboard, and she starts writing on it. She writes down the doctor's name, the nurse's name, of who was assigned to Pita, Pita's name at the top of who the patient is, primary caregiver, which would be old Tort.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, she is writing their full names.
Yes, that the swear name is actually on Little Peter's adoption certificate, so he is just fuzzy butt on there. And it's old Tort, stubborn codger stagehand. And yes, there is a swear name, but it's in real kind, so it's very much a don't put that on there.
I think she starts to, and then she probably looks back, and she considers for a moment, and then she erases the one letter that she had done before just continuing.
Yes. He is the bestower of swear names, and so his swear name does just change constantly, but he does like his real kind swears.
I can't imagine why.
But he does just like settle down, pass Peter the keys from earlier, or in fact, can Peter roll sleight of hand with advantage? Because it's just like old Tort totally stands there with this rainbow set of keys, totally in front of this guy, just like, yep, this is he's totally stealing it because he just wants him to have a nice time. So that's 14. So that's an 18, right?
Yes.
Fantastic. Yeah, you take those keys. Those keys are gone. They are yoinked. And old Tort is just like, he does just do this as soon as it takes a moment for him to realize, but as soon as he notices they're gone, he does a full pat down and a pantomime of, where can they be?
If Peter could laugh, he would be, but he is making the motions.
But yeah, old Tort leaves him to the keys because that's a good way to distract him while some of this stuff is talked about.
Speaking of talking about what's going on, she does eventually get to a part where it says the reason why they're here, and she turns to him and asks, so, what's the reason for you coming in today?
And the smile on old Tort's face does just slowly fade slightly as he just goes, I was looking for a second opinion on a matter that relates to my son.
Alright, and she is going to look through her files really quickly to see if she has any indication of what they are. Did he fill out any paperwork for it?
I think old Tort himself, with his eyesight and stuff, isn't the best at filling out paperwork, but there has been paperwork filled out. He probably would have got Lynn to help out, because while her chicken scratch normal writing is something, her legalese block writing is actually pretty good. And so he would have just had her help with it. So yeah, there is all the paperwork. He is nothing but thorough when it comes to his family.
Valid as hell, and I think that she finds it with a 19. Okay, alright. You're here about the Inspiration Drought. Although I see here that it says suspected, is there any particular reason why you chose that wording?
Inspiration Drought is what I was informed of. It was his other caregiver who is not here. I am the primary caregiver. She is a care staff, a family friend care staff. She is the one who informed us of this, Lillian. She informed us that it was the Inspiration Drought, and well, that's what all the signs seem to be. I mean, I've had my kid Pom Pom. She's checked it out for us. Seems all to be as it should be, and we trust Lillian and what she said about the matter. So, but it doesn't always. I don't know. It was never confirmed as Inspiration Drought. We didn't manage any tests. It was all done through Lillian.
Mm-hmm. What hospital is Lillian from? Do you have a full name?
I will check my hammer space. I do keep the paperwork. She did kind of come in while we were all sleeping at one point. That caused a fuss. We very nearly cast shatter on her. And he does just like rummage into his hammer space, and then he just pulls out a bit of paperwork and he squints at it. He's just like, I think this is. Would you mind reading it out? It's got her full name on it. I think this might be it. It might also be one of the other legal documents. I've got a lot of legal documents in my hammer space. And he just hands it over. And yeah, the nurse can actually see how he squints slightly. He is just like holding it close. And it does read better when it's incredibly close to him, but it's still not great. His vision is not the best anymore.
She is very patient in waiting to be handed the documents, and she herself puts her glasses down on her nose and starts to read everything aloud. Miss Lillian, I unfortunately do not know how to pronounce that name.
Bless.
From a Inspiration Drought specialist from Stars and Oz Clinic. Alright, that checks out.
She's been looking after little Peter for, well, I and my boy had a falling out when he was younger. It was a recent reconnection.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, he had a kid and he had grandkids. I'm a peking uncle. But in the meantime, with everything, it was Lillian who was the main carer.
Mm-hmm. Tell me, how often does she visit now that you are his primary caregiver? It's strange that she isn't here accompanying you and able to give her 2 cents on the matter.
She's been away more often than not nowadays. She used to drop by very frequently, checking up on him, changing bandages, helping check the heart monitor. We prefer to get a second opinion away from her, just help deal with some stress. I'm sure she's going through something at the moment.
You can roll insight on her if you want.
Alright, will do. Insight. I am on the right person, yep. Old Tordents and Tort stubborn sassafras and stagehand. What's your insight? +4. 13 plus 4. 17.
Alright, I'm not gonna make her roll deception because she's not doing a great job at hiding it. I don't think this is something that she would be able to if she tried. You get the feeling that she's not convinced that Lillian is doing her job correctly.
Lillian has been kind to my little Peter. Things have been hard. There's been some recent strife within the family, so we can accept that not every day Ms. Lillian can be with us. She was there when I had to go away for a period. There was a family reunion. It's one of our young ones. finally came back to us after years of pushing us all away. She was there when we needed her.
Mm-hmm. That still doesn't excuse the fact that it doesn't seem like she's given you any notice of her leaving. You were expecting her today, yes?
Yes, we were. She does disappear semi-often. We've tried calling. I'm not a dab hand with the phone, but she hasn't always been answering nowadays.
Unfortunately, that seems to me more like an abandonment of post. And if it truly is Inspiration Drought, then you cannot do that, regardless of how chaotic things at home may be, at least not without a call to inform you that she needed the day off.
We are... My young one, my niece is Detective Little in stagehand. She's going through some stuff at the moment, but once she's back on her feet, we're going to be having her on the case of this matter, because we are curious about exactly where Lillian's going. It's not going to stay a mystery forever. Mark my picking words.
Mm-hmm. Well, I will absolutely double check for you what is going on with Little Pita here. And she approaches very carefully, talks to him. Hello, Pita. How are you doing today? And let's see how Pita reacts to this strange person. He does not know.
I will say Old Tort is nearby, like making sure that he's always visible to Little Peter so that he doesn't ever like startle, so that everything can be okay. If this nurse makes one wrong move, yeet!
That's fair. And honestly, she would expect that. But I think with that 21, no, he's fine. She hasn't displayed any hostility. And, well, Old Tort's there. He at the very least knows that he's safe.
Aww.
And she's gonna look over. Checking all of his vitals and things like that. Checking in his ears. Everything along those lines. Why the hell do you only have a +1 in Arcana?
There was some... He leaks ink sometimes if he gets stressed, and does have a tendency to fall over if left unsupervised. We've curbed that now.
That does sound a little like Inspiration Drought.
Yeah.
Alright, well that's roll 1. She is writing things down, and if you were to look, yeah, no, she's checking boxes for Inspiration Drought, but she's also checking boxes for other things.
Old Tort very much is like watching everything, because Lynn's the one with a fear of hospitals. Old Tort does have a wariness of them. It's just make sure everything is actually in order. Make sure he's not going to pay an arm and a leg for absolutely everything because these people have ripped them all off. But it's just, he does just watch everything, and he is very curious about this stuff because this is his son. And he wants to know everything that's going on here.
Well, if he wanted to make a perception, he's free to.
That is... Perception, that is not something you're proficient in, but don't worry, old man. Alright, that is a 16.
Alright, So you see that she's checking a lot of boxes for a lot of different things, but the two primary ones seem to be yes for Inspiration Drought. And that's a 19. That passes. Meets it, beats it.
Woo!
She starts checking off more and more for a certain spell. I don't know.
Old Tort is confused by that. Old Tort does not get magic at all. Yeah, no, he does not get magic at all. I just rolled him Arcana. That was a 7.
And I think she's going to double check out of disbelief. Yeah, no, that's a 15 for her. She thinks she's pretty damn sure. Pretty damn sure she's got it. And she does not look happy. Mr. Stagehand, is there a possibility that anybody that you know has any malicious intent towards your son?
Malicious intent for my family? And Old Tort does stop for a moment in deep thought. And the nurse can roll insight if she likes.
That is something that she is good at. We'll absolutely take it. Or she can get a nat 1.
I will give advantage on this, seeing as he's in his own head and not actively unlike Lynn, he doesn't actively hide his emotions as much. Just around family. God, that is an 11. No, this is a very old tortoise who is good at poker face. He is very good at cheating at a lot of different games, including Mahjong and even dominoes.
I mean,
even when he...
In fairness, she is pretty pissed.
Yes. But he does seem to be thinking, and you can almost actively hear the cogs going in his head. There is just like that slightly toonish, but while the noise is funny, his expression isn't. As he just goes through things and he goes, my boy lived a colourful life. We live on the bad side of town, and after our argument and estrangement for several decades, he did pick up a few less than kind acquaintances. I haven't met any of them personally. No one's actively stormed the hub. Pom-Pom's got a few enemies, but I don't think they'd come after him. They didn't even know he was part of all this. It's potential. Why?
Well, my dear, you have yourself a incredibly strange and strong case of not Inspiration Drought, but feeble mind. This particular feeble mind seems to act a lot like Inspiration Drought. And as something that I have been told, people who get Inspiration Drought, especially when they are estranged from family, tend to get left to die. It's very clear that he is not really able to care for himself, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. And old Tort has come round to put his hand on the wheelchair. And he's nodding, and he just goes, you're saying that someone... I don't know spells. Feeble Mind is not one that I'm aware of. We're at best bards, a few clerics, but nothing above level 5. Oh, well, I say level 5, only a few of us have got that little Hattie. What does this spell do? Please.
It is a cruel, insatiably cruel spell that destroys a person's mind and their ability to do things that they would normally be able to do. Now, at the very least, they can identify friends, family, follow them, even protect them. However, outside of that, they are often helpless. They have no understanding of the world around them, or even words.
I see. Old Tort has gone a few shades lighter green. Not enough to be, like, a danger, but it does very much seem as though he is taking all of this on board in horror. But he does nod, and he completely barrels through any thoughts of asking if he's alright, and he just goes, is there a cure?
Yes, there is. For this, there is a cure.
Right.
I would like to get my hands on whoever it was that has this particular brand of feeble mind. And she's saying that while she is putting her hands very gently against Pita's head. Whoever it is has a lot of gall, especially in morphing this spell to act in the way that it is. I've never seen Feeble Mind act like Inspiration Drought.
So this person is a spell sculptor, spell creator, modifier, whatever the fuck you call it. Just right. We are definitely getting pom-pom on this, isn't it? Fucking eviscerated. And there is a few more phrases as old Tort does slip into giant for a moment just to get even more creative.
She responds in giant.
No one else knows giant, damn. Yeah, lady, you can understand what he's saying. Some of that sounds anatomically correct, some of it sounds very Toon logic, some of it just sounds downright disturbing. You do not know how this guy knows some of this stuff.
She's not going to question it as she continues casting the spell, and she just asks him very gently, in giant, "Sir, it would be recommended that you calm down for just a few more moments."
He takes a deep, deep, deep breath. There is a slow exhale, and there's almost... Most people have a teapot whistle when they calm down. Lynn gets it sometimes. No, he has a deflating foghorn. It is just muffled, as though it's just, like, through the fog. And he just takes another deep breath and goes, I am calm.
There's a short moment, not even a heartbeat, where she is completely silent and her hands start glowing. And a very soft, calming yellow tongue. Very warm. Before she lets go of Pita's temple. And my god, roll me a perception check.
I'm rolling. Okay, that is not the best. That is, that is a terrible roll. That is an 8 plus 1. That's a 9. Oh, Tort, your perception finally coming to bite you in the arse.
Well, I mean, that might make sense here in a moment, because immediately Pita shoots up from the wheelchair and starts bouncing everywhere. And there is Firecracker Grawlix. Let me roll an acrobatics check.
Okay, yeah, it definitely makes sense why that's annoying now.
He tries to jump on the wall, immediately falls on his face, and he's on all fours now, shouting in the loudest possible Firecracker Grawlix that is a metallic orange.
Yeah. That 9 definitely makes sense. Old Tort is frozen. Yeah. No, Old Tort is absolutely frozen. He just rolled a wisdom save to see how he was reacting with the situation. He got a 6. He is just staring in utter awe and shock because holy fuck, he never thought he'd see his son do that ever again. Because he didn't think he was ever going to see that Grawlix or hear that gunshot, that firecracker noise ever again. And it's here, and his son is moving. I mean, not well, but moving far more than he was a day, a week, a month ago.
He is shaking pretty bad as he is just bouncing around as much as he can. With that nat 1, he's not doing a very good job. He's very clumsy, but he's not stopping.
He had his Bambi legs. Roll him again. Go on. Let him have another go. Let him get his feet under him. There we go.
There it is. He's bouncing quite literally off the walls.
And doesn't that bring back memories? Doesn't that bring back memories? Old Tort is completely calm and fine in every capacity. Don't worry about him. There's something very much more important in this room. How's the nurse doing? Because there is just Old Tort just standing there staring off into space.
Well, I mean, she's fine. This isn't the first time that she's had to cure something like feeble mind, although it is the first time that anybody has ever reacted to coming back quite like this. And, definitely the first time feeble mind has ever presented itself as something else before. Mm-hmm. But then she immediately looks at old Tort, because that is a stark difference. And that was an insight with a 24.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna give it. Old Tort's swaying on his feet.
Sir?
He is staring. He is staring. He is very much staring. He doesn't seem to be breathing.
Sir, please breathe.
And I rolled another wisdom. That was a 3.
My god.
Oh, Tort, it's something in the stagehand family that, given enough stress, this is something that both Old Tort and Pom Pom appear to have in. They pass the peck out. He sways on his feet and he pitches forward.
Oh god. Would you say a 14 is enough for the nurse to catch him?
Yep, seriously, this guy is squishy. He might be an old tortoise, but he's squishy. Please catch him. He's an old man. Who's old? Support the head.
She has immediately caught him. And she is calling for other nurses and doctors to get him some fucking help. And
He's gonna be fine. It's just he has a habit of hiding everything. You can tell just with the insight and stuff. This is a guy who holds his breath to hide his emotions because he knows he's gonna choke up. Unfortunately, he's a dumb old man who forgets you need to breathe.
he is still being put in a bed to rest for the moment. And
Yeah,
they try to
makes
put
sense.
Pita in a bed. It doesn't work well. He won't stay down.
Just the angy thumpies.
Very much so. And
Yeah.
He-hoo.
I think people are gonna get contacted at this point, like, because there is someone else in this hospital, isn't there?
Yeah, and she's just about to leave. Like, alright, I'll see y'all later. Hopefully never again. I don't like it here. Thank you. Appreciate it. Bye. And just as she's going out, she gets a call on her sending stone. She's like, "Yellow, motherfucker."
Yeah, I think that is the common reaction to, hi, your older brother who you haven't seen in years just collapsed in hospital. Which hospital? Oh, the hospital you're just leaving right now.
She slowly turns around, looks in, and it's just like, alright, well, I guess you're stuck with me for a little bit. And she just marches on past, despite the fact that there are a couple of nurses that are trying to say, like, oh, you need a visitor's pass, and she's just not having it. She's like, no, I'm heading in. You can't stop me. Good luck with that.
In the words of old Tort, can't stop me moving too much packing momentum, bye. Which, to be fair, he is a very heavy tortoise, so it kind of makes sense with him. But this cat, kind of, like, she's a real kind munchkin.
She is indeed. And let's see what she has. Doesn't really have anything that can help her in terms of getting there faster, but she's on her way. And she ain't letting anybody else stop her.
She does know this hospital. I mean, she's been here a year.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's pretty easy for her to find.
Yeah, once you're better, you can just break out and go for a wander. See,
Alright, well,
you break out and go for a wander.
That's a 22 for her. She knows exactly where her brother is.
Hey. But, yep. There is definitely one of those rooms with a very angry firecracker bun and a very past the peck out old tortoise. Just as you do. Probably a few terrified nurses going, oh dear God, why? What did we do?
Alright, everybody out. She just opens the door, comes in, closes it behind her, shoos everybody else out. Get out. It's my turn.
Just several of the nurses just like they've been watching Peter, just trying to figure out if they can get him into the. No, they cannot get him into the bed. Oh God, are we gonna have to sedate him? This old lady comes in, goes, get out. They just go, okay, yes, ma'am.
If they didn't get out, they'd probably get smacked.
Yep.
Oh, bless your ever-loving heart. You dumb bitch. And she's looking at old Tort when she says that. The hell happened this time?
I'm sorry, I cannot believe someone just called old Tort a dumb bitch.
She's probably called him worse.
She's probably called him worse. I mean, I know what her swear name is.
I'm gonna make her perception, see if she notices first that, yeah.
I think it's hard to notice the bun going ballistic.
Alright, listen here, you little fuzzy asshole. Get your ass back in that bed. I don't know what the hell happened. Why ain't you in your wheelchair? Get in there. And there's a little bit of a squabble before he finally settles. He's pouting. I don't really want to be in here, but you know what? Sure, why not? Fine. I get it. This is the first time that you've moved in a good long while. You stay in there, else I'm gonna beat your ass.
God. Whiskey, no!
She ain't actually gonna do it.
Whiskey, no! Oh god. Oh god. But I'm gonna roll. Yeah, okay. It's gonna take a while. A long while for old Tort to actually come to. Little Mal might have been alerted back at the Toontown Hub, which is gonna be fun, but at least the other person's there because she will be informed that there is another stagehand on site. Could you give the full name of this other stagehand, this wonderful cat?
Mm-hmm. My name is Lil Whiskey on the Rocks, Yo-Yo Jackass Stagehand. And it is a pleasure to meet you.
And I would like to say that she introduces herself to like a doctor or someone who just eventually plucks up the courage to go, seriously, no, you can't be in here, you need a visitor's pass, just let us give you a visitor's pass, what's your name? And she just does give that, and then there is the sound of ice tinkling in a glass, and out of nowhere a Whiskey on the Rocks is just slid over to Whiskey.
She's looking at it, and she's immediately thinking, get the fuck up.
There is just, from the bed where old Tort is, just one eye just slowly opens as he just goes, "It's good to see you, jackass."
Hi, fuckwit. How you doing?
Been better. Feel as though I've hit a fucking steam truck and lost.
Well, you certainly look like it.
Yeah. And you look like warmed over shit, but I'm not saying anything. And he just, like, swings himself up. He's gonna have to make an acrobatics or something. Just, let's roll. 13, he's trying. It's a soft bed. He's trying.
He's puts her hand so hard. She hops up and she puts her hand on his chest and, like, pushes him back down. Like, hold on there, just a goddamn minute.
I was almost fucking up.
Yeah, and guess how much the fuck I give.
And he is just, like, rocking, like, it is a tortoise on his back. And he's just rocking, trying to get up. He's gonna get up. He's 163, he can't. He's just gonna have another nap in a second if he keeps on trying.
You're in here for a reason. For one thing. And while I don't know what that reason is, I don't exactly fathom getting a call telling me that my brother was in the hospital. So, what's going on?
Technically, I was in for him. And then he suddenly clocks again, and Whiskey, you see the exact moment that old Tort goes from, I am having a nice little chat banter with my sister I haven't seen in a year, God, I love her, to, holy fuck, my son. And it's just like he's now like fully looking over at Peter just to see if it was a dream.
It's not. He's pouting. He's pouting and muttering up a storm. You don't know what he's kicking, but he's kicking something under the covers. Probably kicking the edge of the bed.
Yeah. Whiskey? You've known old Tort for years. Old Tort looks close to happy tears. Which is amusing, seeing as this is a pouting other old man there. So, on one hand, it is just like... Old Tort looks as though the world has hung the stars for him. Just miracle of miracles. He is just openly staring, just happy. And starting to hold his breath again.
She smacks him upside the head. Quit holding your goddamn breath. Let it out.
Don't tell me what to do. And he does take a deep breath at that point. Of yes, he goes, yes, breathing. That is something I need to do. Whoops.
You know, there's no shame in crying.
Oh, you cut out for a second there, Babble.
Oh. Lil Whiskey. Fuck. Hold on. Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello. That's not Whiskey. Whiskey was oh god, Whiskey's got uwu.
Well.
God, stay.
Lil Whiskey just flops herself down onto the belly of his shell. And she's loafed. Because of course she is. And
yeah,
she
gives
him a little...
Is he?
No. She ain't letting him up. She's giving him a little nuzzle. Like, you know, it's okay to cry.
I know. It's just... Holy mother picker. I never thought I'd see this day again. And there are just like, he is blinking. There is actually the slow start of happy tears. He's just looking up at Whiskey and then looking over at Peter. I'm sorry, do you want a nat 20 or a nat 20? What the hell were you just rolling?
Calling to see if he'd fall asleep. I was rolling him a con to see if he'd fall asleep. Nope.
God, can I just say, just you get a nat 20 or a nat 20. Babble, you and your dice, you either get negatives or really damn good. Let's keep it up.
So, he is stubbornly kicking things to keep himself awake. He does not want to go back to sleep.
Yeah. Would he have noticed old Tort by now, seeing that he is talking with Little Mal? Or so, not with Little Mal, that's the other cat, Little Whiskey, on the rocks. Hey, where'd that drink come from?
Oh, it's already been downed, I assure you.
No, she's got a heart condition.
It's fine. That's a 5. He has not yet. He's too angry.
I'm gonna give advantage, seeing as these guys aren't being subtle. And seriously, old Tort, that's a fucking 5! Okay, you got a double nat 20, and then straight on the heels you got a double 5. Ow! God, dive passer, you give Lynn nightmares, and you give these guys weird rolls.
It's the Babble curse.
Yes. But it is just... I think after a while because, yeah, old Tort does just keep staring. He's no longer at risk of holding his breath, which is good. which is good, seeing as this old man and his heart conditions and stuff. God almighty. But there is a bit after a while if he does just like gently stroke through Whiskey's fur and just go, Can I get up and hold my boy?
Of course. And she slowly gets off. And she even helps him up.
Yeah. He needs it. He needs it. It's... Old Tort is a monk, and so he can go fast, but he does normally walk at half speed because of his age, and here he actually walks even slower than that. It's this soft shuffle step as he just gets closer and closer to the bed and listens to his son muttering, and yes, it's Angie Thumpies, but he's alive and he's full of life. Life that he didn't think he'd ever see again. And he just, in a way, very reminiscent of a father sitting on the end of the bed of their child. He does just toddle over and just rest on the bed. Like a child at bedtime.
Takes him a good minute to actually speak. And he has to clear his throat a couple times. But eventually he manages to get out. Hi, Dad.
Hi, son.
But
I fucking missed you. And Peter, you are being pulled into a hug.
okay.
A very familiar hug.
What happened? Why am I in a hospital? I thought we didn't like those.
And there is a very wet laugh. It's... Whiskey, you can very much tell he's crying. This old man is choked up on a miracle. And he just goes, You were in a horrible situation. Someone did something very horrific to you, my boy. My little picnic, but you're home now. You're home. You're here, you're alive, and you're home. And he just hugs. The nurse is probably going to have to explain. There's probably, once the camera pans out, eventually there is going to be a silence and a lot of then explanation of what's happened in the past year, of what's happened with Peter, of everything that has gone on so much. But in this moment, old Tort, this man of so many bright and colourful swears and words, can't speak.
That's a 3. You can see that little Peter is trying so hard when it comes to the explanations to understand what the hell is being said. And everything that's happened, he's not understanding. That's a lot of information all at once, which is unusual for him.
Old Tort knows how to break things down for them to make sense most of the time. He has to give talks to Reggie and to all the other stagehands, which everyone has their own level of stuff. So he's gonna sit down with both of these two and talk through everything as best as he can, and I'm gonna roll for... Yeah, nope, he's good at explaining things. This is Old Man Tortoise who does know how to do that. That is a 21. So it's going to take a while for it to settle in with, like, that 3 from Peter, but Old Tort does explain it as best as he can. He will sit in this hospital because, yes, Peter probably needs to go on watch for a night, seeing as he just came out of that. Old Tort just passed the peck out of nowhere, so he's probably got something, and Whiskey's just here now.
Whiskey isn't leaving.
Yeah. They are probably going to be put on a night of watch before they're allowed to go home. Someone is going to have to on the hub, but yeah, it takes a while, but Old Tort just gets talking, and once he can't stop. And you are both caught up with everything that has happened everywhere. And he does not let either of you two go. He has hugged Peter. Whiskey, you are also going to be pulled into a hug as you are just held. He is just so happy. He has not seen you, and he's not seen his son in a good state in a very long time. He's not going to let go. This is an old tortoise who's been given animas early.
Man.
What the heck was that? Oh,
so both of those were their cons.
Have they fallen asleep?
No. They are not doing great in terms of trying not to cry.
Old Tort is openly crying. You are allowed to cry. Great job.
All three of them are crying like idiots.
There is viridescent Grolix in the air every now and just little foghorn noises of glee. He's just holding you both so softly. It is tightly as though he's worried that you're both going to be snatched from his grasp. You are both going to be brought back to the hub. It's going to be very difficult for people to move out of the hub for a while because he is not going to want to go, but he has been given a miracle and he's holding all his claws.
That's valid.
You can prize these two from, not even his cold dead hands. He's committing to rigor mortis. He will have to be reminded every now and then to breathe, because he will just, when it gets to a particularly difficult part of stuff, like, what the hell happened to Lynn? What the hell is going on with Peter? What he knows about Feeble Mind now, he will have to be reminded to breathe.
Yeah, no, and Whiskey is absolutely the one, the primary one who basically shoves her paw in his face and is just like, breathe, dumbass.
Don't tell me what to do, jackass.
I'll tell you what the hell I want. I like you being alive.
I like you being alive, you motherfucker. We'll talk about that later. I think there's someone we need to talk about later, but right now I'm just going to hold you. And he does wind down with the talk eventually, just like he rambles through everything he can and then provides exposition and breaks it down into chunks, so you guys are going to get the full history of everything that's gone down, but eventually there is just a very tired old tortoise with no tears left to cry, just to holding you both.
I think after a bit, Peter's gonna slump against old Tort. He's fucking asleep. He is dead to the world.
He gets a very, very gentle claws running through his fur and a kiss on his forehead. And then there's just this look to little Whiskey of... Whiskey, roll me insight.
Oh boy. Alright. Where's your insight, babe? There it is.
I'll give advantage. 13's enough, but I will give advantage because this is your brother. You've known this guy for like 60 years. Yet, no, 13. So, Whiskey, after little Peter is fast asleep, Old Tort does just like transfer the hold, so he is partially cradled. And you're still in his grasp as well, and as Old Tort looks at you, there is an age-old understanding in those eyes. You've seen those eyes go through grief of children who have passed on, through accidents, through strife, through a whole miasma of emotions, both good and bad. But you look at him now and there is a softness there, an understanding, and you don't know how he knows, but you know he's got an idea of why you're in this hospital, of why you suddenly went dark about a year ago. But he does just like softly shake his head in the we'll talk about this another time. And then he looks down again at Peter, then he looks at you, and you get a gentle forehead kiss. Just, it's good to have you back, Whiskey.
Oh, come on now. You know a simple little heart attack ain't gonna kill me.
Yeah, you've already been through hell.
Hell yeah, I have.
Satisfaction's always going to bring you back. No. I'm an old tortoise. I'm going to have a nap. We're going to have a nap. We're just going to lie here. And he is just like slowly leaving to crush you under him as he just falls asleep.
Oh,
and no, he's also shit.
No.
He's also a little shit. It's just like, I'm gonna roll to grapple. No,
I'm gonna roll to contest.
No, you're not. You're not. I'm sorry. I don't think you can literally. You can't.
Oh, I'm rolling to like. Oh no, there's no contesting that. She's gonna try though.
Yeah, you can.
That's a disadvantage, so that's a 11. You asshole!
No.
Get off.
He's already softly making foghorn snore noises. He's got one eye open. You can see him. You know.
You little shit! Get off!
I am older than you. I am bigger than you. I am heavier than you. Now go the fuck to sleep. And he is now actually out like a light.
You old ass.
And it is a warm place. He has got his poncho on and his stagehand coat. It is warm and soft and very much exactly as you remember from all those late nights before. I think eventually you are going to fall asleep, just all three of you curled on this bed.
Oh, absolutely. Like, after she calls him an old ass, she starts to curl up, and she's nuzzling into him. Because this is her older brother. Ain't nobody in this life more important to her than him.
Aww.
And she's just gonna fall asleep while purring.
Mm-hmm. And I think the camera pans out from this hospital of bizarre stagehand events, because so many stagehand events happen in the background. The heartwarming, the heartbreaking, and everything in between. But in this moment, we get soft time. We get healing and hope and love. This is a family that is improving and healing and getting better again. And I think that's where we call it.
Yeah!
This has been absolutely amazing. This is a bunch of old dumbasses and we love them all.
Hell yeah! And thank you so much for playing with me today.
Happy to do it. And happy eventually we're going to find out just who the fuck messed with Lil Pita. And what he did.
Don't worry about it.
We're worrying about it. You've got multiple stagehands. These guys are squishy. The toughest of them is level 6, and that's old Tort, and you know his HP. Everyone else is below that. They're still gonna go and beat up this mother pecker. You know it.
And I can't wait to see the day.
Old Tort's gonna bring out the shovel. But I think this is where we say goodbye to our wonderful listeners.
Hell yeah. Bye, guys, and thank you so much for watching. Or listening.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to us with our strange accents and absolutely incredible dumbasses. Bye-bye.
Bye.